A very warm welcome to one and all. In the previous lecture on the design of worm and worm gears, we have studied the strength rating of worm and worm gears based on their beam strength and the wear strength. Now, today, in this particular session, we are going to study the thermal considerations in worm and worm gears. We all know that in case of worm and worm gears, the type of motion between the worm and worm gears at the time of meshing is rolling and sliding. Rather, we can call it as the combination of rolling and sliding motion, where sliding motion is more dominant than the rolling motion. And therefore, the amount of heat generated is more as compared to other type of gears. We know that due to sliding motion, the amount of friction that is generated while meshing is more, and that friction is converted into heat. Due to this friction, the efficiency of worm gear drive is also low. When the worm gears operate continuously, considerable amount of heat is generated, and we have to think about the heat dissipation also. This heat will be dissipated to the surrounding air through the lubricating oil and the housing of the worm and worm gear box. First, we will see how much amount of heat is being generated. The rate of heat generation can be given as Hg is equal to 1000 into bracket 1 minus eta into kilowatt, where Hg is the rate of heat generation in watt. Eta is the efficiency of worm gears, that should be in fraction, that means it should be in point, while kW is the power transmitted of worm gears in kilowatt. So to convert it into watt, we are multiplying by 1000, and therefore whatever amount of heat that we will get over here, heat generated, it will be in watt. So rate of heat generation is Hg 1000 into bracket 1 minus eta into input power. Now, how much amount of heat is being dissipated? Rate of heat dissipation, Hd, is given as K T minus T0 into capital A. One thing we must note over here, right? The heat is being dissipated through the lubricating oil to the housing wall and finally to the surrounding air. And this heat dissipation, Hd, is being calculated as K T minus T0 into A, where Hd is the rate of heat dissipation again in watt. K is the overall heat transfer coefficient of housing walls, watt per meter square degree Celsius. T is the temperature of lubricating oil in degree Celsius, and T0 is the temperature of surrounding air. Again, it should be in degree Celsius. It is also called as ambient temperature. And A is the effective surface area of the housing. It should be in meter square, right? Now, if we are, most of the students think that if the unit of K, overall heat transfer coefficient of housing walls, is watt per meter square degree Kelvin, can we use the temperatures in degrees Celsius? The answer is yes, because we are calculating it as the difference of temperature of the lubricating oil and the surrounding air. And that difference will be same in degree Kelvin as well as in degree Celsius also. Okay. Then if we equate these two equations, the equations for the rate of heat generation and the rate of heat dissipation, Hg is equal to Hd, equating this to equation, we will get this equation 1001 minus eta into input power is equal to K T minus T0 into A. And we can obtain two equations. One is the amount of power transmitted, and second for the temperature of the lubricating oil. So first equation, Kw, can be obtained by dividing this term with this term, K T minus T0 A divided by 1001 minus eta we can get the amount of power transmitted, kW. And second equation can be obtained for the temperature of the lubricating oil, 1001 minus theta into input power divided by Ka plus temperature of surrounding air, T0. We can obtain this equation also. So equating the equations of heat generation and heat dissipation, we can get the equation for the amount of power to be transmitted and the temperature of the lubricating oil. Here we can see these two equations. Kw gives us the power transmitting capacity based on thermal considerations, while T gives the resulting temperature of the lubricating oil for a given power transmitting capacity. And these two equations can be used in the numericals for the calculation of power transmitting capacity and the temperature of lubricating oil. Now, when we are talking about the overall heat transfer coefficient of the surrounding walls, right? Then in normal working conditions, that is with natural air circulation, okay, free air circulation, the value of K can be taken as 12 to 18 watt per meter square degree Celsius. If we want to use further more value for K, rather more than 18 watt per meter square degree Celsius, then we can provide a fan on the worm shaft and arranging the fins horizontally for effective cooling. We can call it as forced circulation of air. And using forced circulation of air, right, the value of overall heat transfer coefficient can be taken as 20 to 28 watt per meter square degree Celsius, more than this value. So in other words, we can say that for free circulation of air, the value of K will be 12 to 18 watt per meter square degree Celsius. And for forced circulation of air with horizontal fins, we can use the value of K as 20 to 28 watt per meter square degree Celsius. Again, it has been observed that the maximum permissible temperature for commonly used lubricating oils is 95 degrees Celsius, commercially used oils, above which it loses its properties, and there is a danger of gear tooth failure due to overheating, which is, again, in other words, is called as scissor failure of worm and worm gear teeth. Therefore, due care must be taken that the temperature of the lubricating oil should not be more than 95 degrees Celsius, and therefore provision of fans can be done above this temperature for effective cooling of the lubricating oil. Now we will see a numerical on thermal considerations. If it is given that a worm gearbox with an effective surface area of 1.5 meters square, capital A, is operating in still air with a heat transfer coefficient of 15 watt per meter square degree Celsius, K is given. The temperature rise of the lubricating oil above the atmospheric temperature is limited to 50 degrees Celsius. That means it is T minus T0. The difference between the temperature of lubricating oil and the temperature of surrounding air, that is T minus T0, is given as 50 degrees Celsius. The worm gears are designated as 1, 30, 10, 8, where 1 is Z1, that is number of starts on worm. 30 is Z2, number of teeth on worm wheel or worm gear. 10 is the diametral quotient Q, and 8 is the module of the worm and worm gear. The worm shaft is rotating at 1440 RPM, that is the speed of the worm, N1 is given, and the normal pressure angle alpha is given as 20 degree. And calculate the power transmitting capacity based on the thermal considerations. That means we have to calculate the value of Kw given by this particular equation. Right? So if we want to determine the power transmitting capacity Kw, we must know the value of eta, that is the efficiency. And for calculating the efficiency, right, we must know the value of lead angle, that is tan lambda. We can calculate it as Z1 upon Q. Given data is written over here, right? Area K, P minus P0 is given, Z1, Z2, Q, module, and N1, that is the speed of worm shaft. 1440 rpm. So lead angle gamma can be calculated as tan inverse of Z1 upon Q. Everything is provided. Gamma can be calculated as 5.71 degree. Pitch circle diameter of worm D1 is equal to M into Q. That's 8 into 10, 80 mm. Rubbing velocity Vs is calculated as pi D1 N1 upon 60,000 cos of gamma in meter per second. We can obtain it as 6.06 meter per second. Now, what is the purpose of calculating the rubbing velocity? Based on the value of rubbing velocity, we can determine the coefficient of friction between worm and worm wheel. This coefficient of friction, which is plotted on y-axis in this particular graph, and on x-axis, rubbing speed Vs is given. So it is something 6.06 meter per second. So using this value of rubbing velocity, 5 is over here, 10 is here, 7.5 will be over here. So 6.606 must be something over here. So if we determine the value of coefficient of friction, it will be somewhere here. So if we draw a horizontal line, we can obtain the value in between 0.02 and 0.03 and much nearer to 0.02, right? Not beyond the halfway. So it can be taken as 0.023 or 0.024. So from the graph, we can obtain the value of the coefficient of friction is 0.024, and using the equation of efficiency of worm gears, cos alpha minus mu tan of gamma divided by cos alpha plus mu cot of gamma. Alpha, normal pressure angle, is given. Mu we have obtained from the chart, and gamma is given. Tan gamma we have calculated. Cot gamma is 1 upon tan gamma, 1 upon tan gamma, and we can obtain the efficiency in fraction, that is 0.7945. Then power transmitting capacity based on the thermal consideration. We have already seen the equation. Kw is equal to K T minus T0 A divided by 1001 minus eta. We can putting all the values, we can calculate the value of our transmitting capacity or power that is being transmitted from worm to worm wheel. So 5.47 kilowatt is the power transmitted based on thermal considerations. Similarly, we can solve a numerical which is very much similar to the previous numerical. Same, a gear pair is given 1, 40 and 4. 1 is Z1, number of starts, 40. Z2, number of teeth on worm wheel. N is the diameter quotient and 4 is the module. The input speed of the worm shaft, N1 is given. The worm wheel is made of phosphor bronze, while the worm of case hardened steel 10C4. Both the material for worm wheel and worm is given. The gearbox has an effective surface area, capital A, is also given. A fan is mounted on the worm shaft to circulate air over the surface of the fins. The coefficient of heat transfer can be taken as 25 watt per meter square degree Celsius. K is given. The permissible temperature rise of the lubricating oil above the atmospheric temperature is 45. That is T minus T0 is given. The coefficient of friction is 0.035. And the normal pressure angle alpha is 20 degree. Calculate the power transmitting capacity on the thermal considerations. Similarly, calculating all the things, we can determine the power transmitting capacity based on thermal considerations. Thank you.